Today's review is a double IPA from Polly's Brew Co, but it's also in collaboration with North. This is Parallel Lines, but what's it going to be like? Keep watching to find out. Welcome back to Rocker's Beer Review. Today we're going to Polly's and this double IPA in conjunction with North Brewing. It's called Parallel Lines. It's 8.1%, all important 0.1%. And in this beer we've got Cascade, which is quite a strange one to start with, Citra, HBC 1019, which is a new experimental hop, and Talus. And I must admit, recently I've had a few beers. I've had a couple that I haven't reviewed on the channel, but I've just drank them with Talus in. And I am starting to get to the point where I'm not liking it as much. I don't know whether the last ones just were very Talus heavy that I had, but it is like squirting perfume in your mouth or hairspray or something like that. It is that so perfumey. But this has got 3 other hops, and Talus is the last one in the line. So I'm hoping that it's going to be not heavy on the Talus, and hopefully we get more of the other stuff in there. I mean, Cascade is a hop that we don't see that often. Polly's do use it, and I think there's a New Zealand and an Australia, a New Zealand and a American Cascade, but it doesn't tell me which type it is. An HBC 1019, my understanding of that, excuse me, I've just had a peanut and it's a spicy one. The 1019, the HBC experimental hop, that's sort of almost got a lot of pineapple and coconut. It sounds a bit like a Sabro. So let's crack it open, get it in glass. I need something to wet the old whistle, as it were, and see what this is all about. See how good this is. I mean, Polly's make great double IPAs. I don't think I've ever had a double IPA from North before, but then I pretty much drank a lot of North stuff that's been in the supermarkets. So, beer in a glass. Well, we've got this very dark, I say dark, it's like gold, but there's a darkness to it. And I think, again, the Talus IPA, I don't know IPA had Talus in it, and it had this sort of colour to it. It's almost like creates this sort of slightly darker colour that it's like beyond custard. It's like darker version of custard. We've got literally a finger, I'd say fairly loose head, I think. You know, you see the loose bubbles there. It won't stick around that long, but it's a very thick looking beer. Looks great in the glass. Let's see what the aroma's like. Yeah, you can smell the Talus, but you can get, it's got more of a sweeter coconutty sort of vibe to it. And again, I think that's the experimental hop, which is a bit brighter, a little bit more. Imagine it's like Sabro, it is like Sabro, and the aroma's Sabro-esque. Talus, of course, is the cousin of Sabro. I don't know how they work that out, but it's a cousin of Sabro. But for me, Talus is it's very perfumey. But it's also like Turkish Delight and a bit pink grapefruit. That's the characteristics that I always think of it. But recently, less of the pink grapefruit and the Turkish Delight and just full-on perfume. Depends how they sort of brew it. I mean, what else we got? Cascade, I'm not sure what that is all about, Cascade. I almost associate that more with an old school sort of hop that you get, like your Columbus, your Chinooks, those sort of hops. But anyway, let's drink it. It smells quite nice, actually. It smells inviting, so hopefully it tastes as good. Cheers, everyone. Ooh. That is very nice. It's a lovely, smooth, medium body, a good body to this beer. Flavour-wise, yeah, you'd think it had Sabro in it. So that experimental hop is very similar to Sabro. The 8.1% alcohol is so well hidden. There's no hop burn, there's no alcohol burn. It's so smooth. It goes down really well. I think it's an excellently brewed beer, especially with the fact that it's got Talus in it. Because Talus it's almost like I'm trying to come up with a nice, good word for it, but it's almost like it's in the background, really. That's not a great word for it. I was thinking of something a bit more exciting to say, but You know there's talus in it. Yes, the dominating, I think that the experimental hop is quite dominating in the flavour. But the talus is there. It's just always like an echo. That's what I'm trying to say. It's like an echo of it. It's just, it's there, and it's sort of, you think, oh, it's there. Oh, it's gone. Oh, yeah, there it is. Yeah, it's definitely there, but it isn't dominating. So the flavours are coming through. That Turkish delighty sort of flavour is coming through, but it doesn't overpower into sort of like full-on hairspray perfume. Smoothness though, creamy. I think I mean I think this experimental hop is something that I think we'll see it more, because it almost takes it's very similar to Sabro, has that coconut flavour definitely, and it's the same sort of coconut flavour. It's not quite like the Sriracha Ace, which we hardly ever see anywhere these days, but that had a little time in the sun, as it were. That is so coconutty and quite sweet, whereas Sabro is more of a woody coconut, and it's similar, and this is more woody. But you get more of that pink grapefruit coming in with that. Less of the lime that you get with Sabro. I'm not really getting a creamy mint, but there's a creaminess to this beer. I can't believe it. It's so easy to drink and smooth. I keep pouring thinking, oh, I must have more left, but this is going down far too quickly for an 8.1%. I'd say this is excellent. This is a very, very good beer. Lovely and complex, but well balanced. Mouthfeel, smooth, and it's got this creaminess. So it's got, look at the lacing, nice lacing of the glass there. I always think that shows a good quality beer. You get the lacing, and that shows. If it was like a really too light and thin, the beer, then you wouldn't get that lacing, I don't think. It's really smooth, but it's so moreish and it's so tasty. And 8.1%. I could drink 2 or 3 of these and be in La La Land. Oh yeah, really nice. I think that's one of the best double IPAs I've had this year. So smooth. There's something a bit different. Yeah, we haven't got all those New Zealand flavours that are in nearly every other beer these days, especially double IPAs as well. You're getting all that sweetness of coconut. You're getting the pineapple. Pineapple is in there as well, like Sabro. But I'd almost say that the pineapple is a little bit more brighter, I'd say, with this hop. Citrus sort of keeps it all in check. I'm not sure what Cascade's doing, and there's that echo, I would call it, of talus in the background. But it's a lovely beer. Even if you're not a fan of talus, and I know there's guys out there, Nick at Beer Engineers, he's not a big fan. And after watching his videos, I'm thinking, yeah, I think you've got a point, actually. He's not great, but I think if you're having a talus, if it was a beer that just had talus in, I would avoid it like anything, because it is so dominant. But if you've got other things in the mix, it just brings a more complexity to the to the beer. It just gives it a little bit more of an edge. But this is so well put together, smooth. It's one of the best mouthfeels of a double IPA that I can have for a long time. So it's a bit of an understated can with this sort of green and cream sort of stripes. Parallel Lines Double IPA from Polly's and North, 8.1%. He drinks like a 4.5% beer. Really smooth, really lovely. Let's get some scores. Okay, the scores are in for Parallel Lines, a Polly's and North Double IPA, 8.1%. I've done the scores, and as a spoiler, this is probably the highest rated beer of the year of 2024. I'm quite amazed, but it's so smooth. The flavours are there, the complexity, the balance. Really well brewed beer. Polly's and North, you've done a really great job here. So, scores, starting with aroma, appearance, flavour, value for money. 8.1% double IPA. This was £5.50. That's a very good price for a very good double IPA. You can spend, I bought the Glimmer from Track. That was £7.50. This is better, and this is £2 cheaper. And finally, my overall experience. Tighten the scores up, we get the heaviest of heavy metal, the Iron Maiden of craft beers. It's a highly recommended beer. That means it's in the 80s, and it is 85 out of 100. As I said, that's the highest rated beer of the year. I'm sure it is. I know we've had a few in the 80s, but I don't think we've got any that are, you know, halfway and are getting creeping towards 90. Very rarely we have a beer like that. So 85 out of 100 total score. This is a really good beer. If it's still available, give it a go. But again, I've noticed at Polly's I've had 2 or 3 different double IPAs. We had one. Do we have one? Yeah, we had one. I reviewed it. I can't even remember what it's called now. Is it up there? Can I see it easily to grab? No, I can't. But we had a double IPA from Polly's. Oh, I can't remember without going up there and having a real search around for it. I'm sure we had a double IPA from them fairly recently. But this is a very good beer. And yeah, even if you're not a fan of Talus, give this one a go, because you might realise that there's a bit more to it. If it's brewed correctly and it's in the right mix with other hops, it can be a stunning beer, stunning flavour that can really bring out other flavours of the beer. But this is, as I say, probably my double IPA of the year. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you don't. If you have, let me know if you've had any very good double IPAs recently. I've got to get my hands on some of those the birthday verdants. I've got to get my hands on those. What was the other ones? Double IPAs. I've got to look that looks of. There's so double IPAs are being released more and more, and I think that when they're good, they are the best type of drink they are. When you drink stuff like this, you think, yeah, I could never drink, and I couldn't imagine not drinking double IPAs because this is so good. It's so smooth, and it doesn't drink like 8.1%. You look at 8.1%, you think, oh, that's going to be harsh. But it's not harsh at all. It's really smooth and beautifully brewed, and I loved it. I loved it. It's great. I wish I'd had another one. But I can't have another one because I haven't got one, and I don't know if it's available. And if it is, well, I like to drink lots of different beers. But I'm rabbiting on, so I'm going to enjoy the rest of this. And then I've got a couple of Parallels, I think, in the fridge that I will drink and probably not review. And until the next one, you know what you do. Drink good craft beer and keep on rocking.